Valley. Speaking of the greatest in Santa Clarita, a very special guest in studio today. And here's the thing. It's not a matter of if, but when an emergency is going to happen. And you need to be prepared for it. And I have David Foucar. He is the president of LifeTanks. And how are you, my friend?
I'm doing really well.
And you're back again after you've been on my show before. You were on George's show earlier.
That's correct.
Are you on the payroll now? That's what I need to ask you. Are you?
Well, not yet, but I'm always open.
Still going through the interview process.
Yes,
I got it. Okay. So the LifeTanks, you can go find out more information, lifetanks.com. You can also call 855-422-3131. Or if you have specific questions, you can email info@lifetanks.com. Now, one thing, LifeTanks, it's about water storage.
That's correct.
But it's a special kind of water storage. Now, most people, what they do is, I know a few people that have the big giant water barrels, the big giant plastic water barrels. And my question is that really the best option when it comes to water in an emergency?
Well, no, it's not really the best option, although I would say that preparing in any way is a good first step. So, but water barrels, the largest issue with water barrels is that the water remains still and so stagnates over time.
Okay.
And there is a significant amount of maintenance to ensure that that water is safe to drink. And there are a number of issues about water barrels, such as the right grade of barrel to ensure that it's never been used with any other sort of product. Used barrels are generally a bad idea, but broadly speaking, water barrels require a significant amount of maintenance to ensure that the water is safe to drink.
So you mentioned stagnation. What are some of the worries of water staying stagnant?
Well, what happens with water is it needs to move to ensure the bacteria doesn't grow. There's a number of issues. First of all, air, organic matter, and movement that cause water to remain safe to drink. So, lack of movement, air within the barrel, heat, all of those mixed together, sort of a soup that causes bacteria and parasites and algae and other bad stuff to grow in the water. And of course, then when you drink it, it can make you sick, which is the very, very last thing you want to happen in an emergency situation. Water, which should be life-saving, becomes something that actually detracts from your health and something that you definitely don't want to happen.
And so most of them are plastic, and that is an issue, right?
Well, yeah.
Them being plastic?
Both for two reasons. Certainly the kind of plastic is important, but the plastic for water bottles, which are also common along with barrels. Plastic by design is designed to degrade over time. Plastic bottles especially are designed to degrade quickly. So water stored in those bottles, chemicals from the plastic will leach into the bottles. The other problem with plastic barrels and other plastic is that it absorbs chemicals. So whatever's absorbed in the product will leach into the plastic, will leach into the water, and that is a problem with water barrels.
Ew. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, but LifeTank takes care of this. So, what does LifeTank do to deter from stagnation and the other issues that they have? What's different about LifeTank?
So LifeTank is a very simple concept, but new to the market. What LifeTank does is it works in conjunction with the existing water supply. So the water comes in under pressure, and as you use your water for daily use, washing your clothes, washing dishes, taking showers, all of those things, the water cycled through the tank. So the water never sits still. In addition to that, the tank is a air-free and light-free contained environment. So the soup that I mentioned before of heat and organic materials and all of those do not remain together to cause problems for bacteria, algae, and other things to grow.
And so we're speaking with Dave Foucar. He is the president of LifeTank. And you can go to lifetanks.com. You can call 855-422-3131. You can also email if you have any questions, info@lifetanks.com. So this seems like a pretty good option for for emergency type situations. How big are the barrels? So people have those giant barrels in their garage or whatever.
Right.
How big is the LifeTank?
Well, the most common water barrel is 55 gallons.
Okay.
Our system comes in two sizes, 80 gallons and 120 gallons.
Okay.
But they also can be hooked in series so that basically the volume can be expanded to any level. So 4 tanks together would be 480 gallons of storage.
Okay, so explain, maybe people are like, man, 120 gallons, that seems like a lot. I probably won't need that much. Explain how much, in an emergency situation, how much water do you need?
Yeah, that is an important question. People think of, even from a water perspective, that we need to drink half a gallon a day. And that's appropriate, although for emergency purposes, the minimum requirements recommended by all experts, FEMA and the World Health Organization and others, is at least 1 gallon, because you need to cover not only your drinking.
Yeah.
And by the way, we think of a half gallon, 8 cups a day, as being a lot of water, but it's really not, especially in an emergency situation where it's a stressful environment, there may be heat, and you really have health concerns. You want to ensure that you drink that minimum amount. And of course, in a hot environment, which I think Santa Clarita area gets pretty hot sometimes of the year, you actually need more just for hydration. But in addition to that, you need water for sanitation. There needs to be some level of bathing. You're not going to shower or take baths in an emergency situation, but you still do need to wash. You also have to flush waste and other items. So really, the better requirement, according to FEMA, is about 2 gallons a day for at least 2 to 3 weeks. World Health Organization suggests as much as 4 gallons a day. So we really do try to look for 2 gallons a day for 2 to 3 weeks as a minimum requirement. So it means if you have a family of 4 and you haven't accounted for pets, you're talking about 8 to 10 gallons a day of water. So an 80-gallon tank for a family of 4 is about a week's worth of water.
Yeah, so it's not as much as you'd think.
It's not nearly as much.
Yeah.
Right.
So and then the last question I have, so a friend of mine, during the 94 earthquake, he had 3 barrels full of water that he had stored, and he was ready for an emergency. And the earthquake knocked him over, and he lost all the water.
Right.
So my question is, these are mounted and safe, right? I mean, obviously a giant earthquake you may not be able to plan for, but you guys have it like mounted and ready, safe.
Right.
And stuff,
every system comes with an earthquake strap to avoid that, and that is, as you mentioned, a very important consideration. We're storing water. If you do have water stored and then you can't access it, well, it doesn't really do very much good. So when you are storing water, that's an important consideration, not only to secure it, but to ensure that it's a location that you'll be able to access it. Water barrels, for example, you need a pump to get the water out of the barrel. You will need to have purification tablets or some other system with a water barrel. So if that is your choice, you need to ensure that you have the other items necessary. We've eliminated those factors.
Excellent. LifeTanks.com for more information. You can also give them a call, 855-422-3131, or you can email info@lifetanks.com. Dave, thanks for stopping by.
Sure.
Appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you.